Cheeky Richo's homemade bibimbap. Hi and welcome to Cheeky Richo's Korean bibimbap, which literally means rice and mix-ins. You can put any vegetables or meat you like in this dish. It's absolutely delicious, very healthy, very colourful and very Korean. The ingredients are in the recipe box below, but they are only a guide. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is get our fresh bean sprouts and just pop them into some water and boil them with the lid on to get rid of that raw bean taste. So while we're preparing our vegetables, it can go onto a medium heat to boil, and then we're going to drain them well. Time to marinate our meat. We've got some raw sugar here, and we've got some Korean sunchang gochujang Korean hot pepper paste. This stuff is like a rocket fuel. It's really, really strong. So we're just going to take a little bit of that because this is going to be our sauce and also our marinade for our beef. So that's probably even a bit much. We're going to add our rice wine vinegar and half of our garlic. Now give this a good mix around to completely dissolve it. Now we have our beef. It's very lean. It's been cut incredibly finely. You see that? It's just like a little bit thicker than spaghetti. If you're not confident doing it like that, it's a lot easier if it's actually partially frozen. But if you're not confident doing it like that, just use mince. That would do the same job. But we've got some beautiful lean beef here, and we're going to add some of our marinade to that. About half. Give it a good mix around and just let that marinade. You don't have to put it back in the fridge because we're going to be cooking it very, very shortly. And just let that marinade while we prepare our vegetables. Our red capsicum or bell pepper, a zucchini or courgette. Try and cut all of your vegetables a similar size into it like shoestrings, long and thin and regular. We've got our carrots, as finely as you can slice it, our carrot, our daikon, as finely as you can slice that too, our daikon or Chinese radish, our mushrooms. You could use enoki mushrooms, you could use shiitake. I'm just using some little button mushrooms because they were lovely and fresh at the market. As finely as you can chop them. And then just our onion, very, very finely sliced as well. Now we're just getting the white part of our spring onion, and we're just going to slice that down the centre. Okay, our preparation is essentially done now. We've just drained our bean sprouts here, and we're just going to pop those into a bowl. Pretty hot, with a little splash of sesame oil and a little bit of our garlic. So raw garlic there, just a tiniest little pinch, and that heat of those bean sprouts, it's melted that sesame oil, smells amazing, and it'll just lightly cook that garlic. Okay, on to cook our remaining ingredients. Now we've just cracked one egg into a bowl and we've wet another little bowl. We're just going to pick up that egg yolk because we want the egg yolk to be whole. So just separate that from the white. The reason that we've wet the other bowl is we don't want it to stick to the bowl. We want it to slide out without breaking. So the wet bowl will allow it to slide around. Do you see that? And that way you can keep it whole. Crack another egg in there too. Basically just for the colour. Give it a little whisk around. And that's going to be a little sliced up omelette to go on top of our bibimbap. Don't get too serious with that. Okay, over medium-low heat, we've just put some sesame oil in that pan. We're going to add our 2 egg whites and an egg yolk to that pan and cook it until it's done. And then we're going to slice that as well. So just spread that all around the bottom of that pan. It will be a little light in colour because it's had one of the yolks removed. Carefully turn it over, roll it up and remove it from the pan. That aside till it cools enough to be able to manage, and then we're going to slice that for our bibimbap. More sesame oil, and it's in with our mushrooms. We want to cook those really quite well. This is not the dish to be having raw mushrooms. No need to wash the pan in between cooking. As it's cooked, we just push it to one side. Send in our spring onions now. A little bit more of a sprinkle of our sesame oil, get those nice and wilted, but we still want a little bit of crunch there. Plenty of room in this pan. We're just going to put our capsicum or our red bell pepper over here. Same thing, a bit more sprinkle of our sesame oil. Okay, now our little spring onions are nicely wilted now. We're just going to remove those, put them to one side. Add our regular onions. You can do these one at a time if you like, but it's a lot easier to do it this way because you keep it all hot at once without it having to be reheated. Get some mushrooms off as well. These all have to be done individually and then they're actually mixed in at the table. So you get to see exactly what you want and mix it in as you go. Our radish is next. Remove our bell pepper, our capsicum now. Pop in our carrot. And that's going to take a little while, so we'll put that to the side. Take our onion off because we don't want it to get browned. just going to remove our radish now. It's got a little bit of colour on it and it's nicely watered down and nice and soft. Send in our zucchini or courgettes. And remove our carrots as well. They're nicely softened also. And because the zucchinis are a little bland, we're going to add our leftover garlic and a good sprinkle of some more sesame oil. Get that sort of nice and nutty and coloured up a bit. Just stir around. It's smelling so good at the moment. Okay. Bibimbap is traditionally served in an earthenware pot which is called a dolsot. And I have tried everywhere to get one in Australia and just cannot get one. And I had this recently on holiday and I couldn't wait to come home and try to make it myself. So we're just going to be using it in just an Asian bowl. So it's not a traditional bibimbap, but the flavours are very similar. Now before it colours up too much, we're just going to, or sweats down too much, we're going to remove that and put it on our tray ready for assembly. Last thing to go in now is the beef that we've had marinating. Get a bit more heat here. Now our meat's nicely cooked now. We're just going to remove that as well, and we're just going to give a quick flick through of our bean sprouts to reheat them and just make sure we've got rid of that really raw garlic flavour. In they go. Okay, time to assemble our bibimbap. We've got our steaming hot rice here. We just pop it in the bottom of the bowl. Now if we were using a dolsot, that would actually be heated at the moment and it would make a crust on the bottom out of the rice, but we don't have the luxury of that at the moment. But rest assured, when I can get my hands on one, I will show you what they look like in another Korean dish. So just pop our rice in there like so. We start to fan our food out. So stack our bean sprouts in, nice and fragrant. We start to assemble the rest of our ingredients. Try and change each spoke on the wheel to a different colour to give it nice contrast. So it's in with our eggs now, our spring onions, doesn't matter if they overlap, our mushrooms, capsicum or bell pepper, our onion, carrot, our daikon or radish, courgettes or zucchini, and lastly our beef strips. Give it a little tidy so all the colours are all completely separate, and then we make a little hole in the centre and pop in our egg yolk. Because we used a wet bowl, the egg yolk just slides in like so. Now we're just going to serve that with a sprinkle of some shredded spring onions and some toasted seaweed that has been cut into little pieces. Just a little shred here with your kitchen shears. And there you have it, Chicky Richo's homemade bibimbap. If you'd like to see more interesting recipes and ideas, just check out our Cheeky Richo channel. And don't forget to please subscribe and do come back and visit us again soon. We have so much more to show you. We're uploading lots of videos every week, and thank you very much for watching. Now, don't forget to serve this with some homemade kimchi. I've showed you that in a different video. And our spicy hot, sweet and sour dipping sauce. Thanks for watching. Time to serve up. So we've got our spicy mixing sauce. We're just going to pour it all over the top. And just mix it all up. And that's what bibimbap means. It's healthy, it's delicious, it's fun to make, colourful to eat, and it tastes amazing. There's a meal for two in that bowl there. How's that look? Pretty good, eh? Have a little taste, shall we? Wow. Thanks for watching.